All right, we are officially recording. So, hope everyone's doing good. Today's guest is Nicholas, my friend. Um, Funny enough, we actually did a podcast last week, and it didn't even work. I tried downloading it and then getting the file pulled up, but it wouldn't even like show me or like I couldn't hear anything.
That's crazy.
And so I was a little irritated for a couple of days, but I downloaded Zoom on the computer, so hopefully it records and then I can save it and then post it on YouTube. But so
Yep,
what's been
yep.
happening with you?
Nothing much, same old, same old. I just been working on my YouTube channel and how I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, I saw that
It-
you posted your first couple videos of your podcast, right?
yeah, we finally made a comeback after it's been 9 months.
Wow, 9 months.
It's been really hard over the last 9 months to try and get everyone together. So when we finally all did get a chance to like talk to each other on a regular Zoom call, I was like, well, let's go ahead and do a podcast episode because it's been like forever since we did one. So why not?
Yeah, I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed the reactions to some of the music videos you listened to.
Yeah, those were some nice songs. I like that one was like, I'm a savage. Okay. Classy, bougie, ratchet. Oh.
Now, were they your friends or were like family members?
They're my friends. I know them from theater.
That's pretty cool. Now, do you want to talk about like why you wanted to get back into podcasting?
Well, lately my YouTube channel, I've been having some good videos, some decent videos. And I'm just used to the podcasts I did last year when I was like, I want to get a podcast team ready and I want to talk about stuff that's going on in the world. And it was, I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was that made me say, okay, this is the day I try to get everyone back together to do the podcast. But I just know that consistency is the key to everything on YouTube working out. You can't go 1 month, here's a video, and then 3 months later, here's something new and expect to keep that same consistency. I know one YouTube channel, they like a YouTube series on there, and their consistency wasn't the best, and it led to their ratings dropping a lot, and then ultimately the show never finished airing. I guess the creator gave up on his show, which is really a what's the word? It's really a bummer because I enjoyed the show a lot.
Yeah, man, I had a couple of friends who were trying to get into YouTube and they posted for about 3 weeks and then they just stopped. And they were
Mm,
doing pretty good. They were getting about 100 views a video, and then they ended up getting about 50 subscribers in like 2 weeks. And then
mm.
they just suddenly stopped, and they haven't posted another like 3 weeks. So
And that's where, if that's the easiest place to go wrong when you're trying to do YouTube, because you just have to stay on top of consistency. If you don't have consistency, then you're ultimately not going to get anything. You're not going to get the results that you want for your YouTube channel with consistency. Because I myself have taken breaks from YouTube where I just didn't have ideas. But whenever I came back, I did not get that same feel. Say I have one good video 1 week and then I'm out of ideas and it's a month before I upload. A month later, not the same people are going to be checking for my videos. So it's necessarily me trying to figure out, okay, how do I get this audience back and get them hooked onto something so it's not me having these breaks where I'm just not uploading anything.
yeah, I mean, and you're extremely talented too. I mean, I've seen your editing. I can't do that, but it's entertaining. I love watching your videos. Did you see that link that I posted for you?
I haven't watched the video yet because I ordered a webcam off of the internet And so I'm waiting for because you said you wanted me to do a reaction video for it. So I was like, I don't want to click on it yet and spoil myself. So I said, I'm gonna wait for the webcam to get here. And once I set that up, then that'll be my first video I do with my webcam.
Yeah, you're gonna love it because you know who The Weeknd is, right?
Yeah. I love the weekend songs. Like
Yeah,
I'm not a hooked on fan, but the songs I do know, they're not bad at all.
he just came out with a new album, After Hours. It's really good. It has like a little bit of like R&B and like 80s music in it, but a really good album. It's one of his best.
Oh,
Uh,
let me try to check it out.
yeah, the link I sent you, it was he makes a cameo appearance on American Dad. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, I know what show that is.
Um, but it's like a short little parody song that he does in the show. That's like completely the opposite of who he is, and you'll like it. I can't wait to see your reaction for it.
I have a feeling it's gonna be hilarious.
It's actually really catchy, so I won't spoil it for you,
Okay, please don't.
but now I do have a question for you, and it's something that I've noticed is why do you hate Camila Cabello?
Camila Cabello.
Yeah, Cabello, or however you say that.
Oh, Camila. I don't hate her. I just there's certain things that I pick up on that I just don't like about her. But if I were to meet her and she was a nice person, I'd go, okay, girl, you're not so bad. But from what I've seen, she's just not a type of person that I don't know. I can't say I hate her. I don't hate anybody, but the little things that I notice are last year there was a whole scandal about her having racist Tumblr things reblogged or however you use Tumblr. I don't use Tumblr. I saw the things that she had reblogged. There was, I don't know if this was a real tweet or not. There was a tweet years ago before Fifth Harmony actually got popular, and she was like, oh, I'm in a group with these, not these. She was saying something about Normani being the N word, and it's just, I don't know. I don't really, it's the little things that I pick up on, and I'm just like, okay, girl, that's too much. Because I remember when she had gave like a speech because she had won an award or something, and she was like, oh, this country was built on a dream. I'm like, did you go to your history class? It was much more that's not a dream, but whatever it takes. A lot of people cheat on their tests, so I don't blame her if she didn't know how this country was founded. But
Now,
it's just little things.
do you like her music, or do you just dislike everything about her, like her character and just her voice?
Her music is not bad. It's overplayed, overrated. That's what I'll say. If her music was played the average amount that a regular artist was played on the radio, then I can go, okay. But when something gets overplayed, you really get tired of a person. Everybody loved Old Town Road when it was brand spanking new. But once Old Town Road comes on 5 times a day on the radio, you're going to get sick and tired of Old Town Road. And that's just music in general. If you hear something 6 times a day on the radio and it's supposed to be a variety of music, yet you're hearing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get sick and tired of that song. And it's not necessarily that I don't like Camilla. It's just the little things that I pick up on that I don't like about the person. But she might be the nicest person on the face of the earth, but I wouldn't know because I've never met her.
Yeah, I mean her music's really good. I really love the I think it's called Senorita or something like that.
Oh, Davis loves that one.
Yeah, she's dating Shawn Mendes, I think. I don't know if they're still
Um,
dating.
they might be. I mean, they're both boring, so that's a nice couple. Interesting. Maybe they do something interesting. That my thing. I think with the both of them, they're both overrated, so they're meant for each other, in my opinion. if, like I said, if they were given the attention of a normal artist, then I would not complain at all. But if it's something I constantly have to see, then it's just like, you know. And I know somebody will quickly go, then the answer is just to click off. I do click off, but when I click off, here I see again Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, and it's like, okay, that's a bit much. And I stated this in one of my podcast videos that I would not dislike her as much as I did if it weren't for her fan base. Fan bases in the music community are a big problem with music today. It's hard to enjoy someone's music when their fan base is overhyping them, talking back. And it's a mentality that everyone has to an extent. To Davis, be quiet, where you bring someone else down to lift somebody else up. And I said in my video that one of Camilla's fans had went on the internet and was like, well, compare Camilla to somebody like Mariah Carey. Camila Cabello should get on her knees and worship Mariah Carey. And
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
are we talking about the same Mariah Carey? The Mariah Carey that's had a lot of influence in the music industry. I mean, I can't really say what Camilla has done for the music industry besides Havana Senior. Like, she has catchy songs, but that's nothing compared to what Mariah has done for the industry. And if you're gonna bring somebody else down to lift somebody up, bring somebody down that's on her level, because she's not on Mariah's level. If we're going to talk about Mariah's level, if we're going to talk about somebody from this generation that is close to the ability that Mariah has, let's talk about Ariana Grande. They have similar voice styles, and I think they are similar in style and how they sing. But don't compare apples to oranges, but then you're talking bad about the oranges just to say how good the apples are.
Yeah, I completely understand. You can't compare Mariah with Camilia. I mean, they're just completely different, and you know,
I
I do
think my
think the
thing
fan
is
base
just
is.
the amount of disrespect behind it. That's what just throws me off about her. And it's not her, it's her fan base. Because even if you take away the concept of Camilla saying something racist or doing something racist, if you take that away, her fan base has still attacked her former Fifth Harmony bandmates numerous times. There were a lot of racial hate messages, tweets, posts, all of that to Normani. She was also in Fifth Harmony. And I mean, stuff like that really can tear down a singer before they're getting started, because Normani is still on the come up, if you will, because she didn't get the same head start that Camilla got because she left the group early. But I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, there's a lot of super fans out there, and you know, I'm a part of a fan group on Facebook for a older singer, and you know, a lot of them stick up for him, and they don't necessarily think he does anything wrong. But a lot of these fans, they put a lot of the musicians on a high pedestal, and kind of look at them as like gods or something like that, and they're not. So, look, I wouldn't necessarily just pay attention to her fan base if that's why you dislike her. I'm not sure if that's the sole reason why.
no, that's not the sole reason why. It's just like I said, it's small things that add up about a person that can really just throw you off about them in general. But maybe she will redeem herself in my book. But again, who am I? I don't have awards. I don't have all of that. I'm not on her level, so my opinion doesn't matter to her. It's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it.
Now, is there any singers who are your favorite singers?
Um, I can't really say favorite singers. It depends on genre, because I love a lot of singers in a lot of different genres. But Camilla is in the pop industry, so if I had to think of any pop artists, I would say the other members of Fifth Harmony. I like their music as a solo. I think they stand out solo better than they did as a group. I like Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige. I like Doja Cat. I didn't really know who she was, but I listened to this one song she had. I wouldn't say I'm a fan yet. I haven't heard enough of her music, but I heard that one she did with Nicki Minaj, and she sounds decent in my opinion. I like her style. And this one, she's not really a singer, but she has music out, and I think she has a beautiful voice. Kiki Palmer.
Is she the woman that sung like with Elton John?
She did Kiki Palmer, she was in that one Nickelodeon. You know True Jackson VP? She was True
Yeah.
Jackson.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm gonna
Uh,
see if I can find the picture real quick. But yeah, she was True Jackson on True Jackson VP. Let me see. You'll know who she is when you see her face.
you know what's really funny is a lot of like after actors on Disney end up leaving their shows, you know, they notice they always go for like a singing career.
Hmm.
Like Bridget Mendler from Good Luck Charlie, you know, the older sister.
Yeah, you see her.
Oh wow, okay. No, I
So now
was
you know
thinking
what
of
I'm
a
talking
white
about.
one.
But yeah, Bridget Mendler, yeah, she did have a music career after she left Disney.
Do you know what she's doing now? Is she like still singing or?
Well, I know she got married recently, so I don't know if she's still focused on music or if she's focused on starting a family. I think with Disney, it's a lot of, I can't remember if I talked about this on the podcast or not, but I probably will eventually. But with Disney, I think that is a head start or a boost, if you will, into the music industry because you're already with when you're with Disney and you go to Disney and you're like Disney, I want to have a music Disney. They have their own music company, I think, and most time they will go, okay, you can have this song or you can have this out, but once you have the image of a Disney actor, actress, singer, etc., whatever, you really have to have talent in order to do well with fans, to do with your audiences, and a lot of that in general. Because as soon as they see Disney artists, Disney this, there's a lot of expectations there for what your sound is going to be. And that's how a lot of these actors and actresses get thrown off into where they are now. Because there was that phase where Disney people were all going, what's going on with Miley Cyrus or what's going on with Demi Lovato? And I think, me personally, in order to actually succeed in the music industry, if you get that head start from Disney, you have to shake it off if you want to get an actual audience. And that's with Nickelodeon too, because I watched a video about Big Time Rush and their short-lived TV show and band. And the guy in the video, I think, if I recall, said that they didn't want to really go further than the TV show, and that's why they didn't get that reach as a band, because they were saying that they used to open up for just 1 second. They had a tour, and this was back in the day. So One Direction was opening up for Big Time Rush, and everybody was all like One Direction, and they were kind of like, it really throws you off for you to be the main artist, but everybody is still crazed about the opening act. And I think that is a real disappointment that comes in the music industry. And the guy in the video said that you really have to extend past Nickelodeon and extend past Disney Channel. And me taking that in myself, if you want to be a real artist, you have to break the Disney layer and you have to break the Nickelodeon layer. If you are acting, any of that, you could still do that. But you have to break that label because if you're coming out from Disney, you're gonna have Disney label, Nickelodeon label. Your sound, even if your sound is mature, everyone still hears childish because it's Disney label.
Yeah, it's so weird seeing stars from like Disney shows doing like adult shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I see them as like, Miranda Cosgrove from iCarly.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a horror movie that she was in, and it was so weird watching it because I was just thinking, she's Carly from iCarly, and but yeah, I get your point. It takes a lot for Disney stars to kind of break through the Disney label,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't really know much about the music industry, but that's pretty good advice though.
Yeah, I mean, from my observations that I've seen, the people that come, because here's the thing, when you get Disney, they'll say, okay, you can do your music, and then they'll advertise you on the Disney Channel, and they'll be like, oh, this is Radio Disney's next big thing. But what goes wrong with next big thing and why you don't hear them as much anymore? Say when I was watching Disney Channel, let me think of a group. Let me think of somebody. I don't know. Okay, Ariana Grande. This is where I think she broke when she broke the Nickelodeon label. That's when her fan base really started coming in, and she still had a fan base from Victorious and Sam and Cat, and they were all maturing at the same time. So she still was able to keep her Nickelodeon audience while breaking the Nickelodeon label. But if it weren't for her breaking that label, she would not have the success that she has now because it's hard when you have the Nickelodeon or Disney label to actually, it's hard to succeed. I'll say that. Big Time Rush, the guy said in the video, they had one song that went on the billboards. I think they had a few songs that went on the billboard, but they still had the Nickelodeon label and they were still able to get on the billboard. That's hard because with the Nickelodeon label, it's just hard to succeed. With the any label, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Because even if you can succeed while you have the label and you're young, once you mature, you don't want to be 24 years old and you're still writing Disney Nickelodeon songs and you don't want to, and you're not allowed to do the music that you want to make. Because that's another thing with the Disney and Nickelodeon label. If you don't break that label, then there are going to be a ton of restrictions and you have no freedom as an artist. If you have Disney and Nickelodeon label, you can't curse in your songs and say the words you want to say even if you're not cursing, if it implies something mature that younger audiences are not ready to hear, then you can't produce that song unless you give it to somebody else, unless you give the rights to somebody else. But with the Nickelodeon Disney label, you just can't do it. It's one quick singer. I ain't gonna tear him down, but Asher Angel,
No,
he was Jonah Beck on Andy Mack. You
I never got
probably
into that show.
Oh, I made a video. Well, no, I'm working on a video about why that show didn't do the best. But, anyways, the thing with him, he's an artist and he does music and he does tours and performances. The thing about him that's still something is that even though his show ended or whatever, he still has the Disney label. And so I was surprised personally when he got into that Shazam movie. You know the Shazam movie, the superhero movie?
Yeah, that was a really good movie.
Yeah, he was the one that he was the main character, the younger one.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it's something you still making music, but you still got the Disney label. Until you get rid of that Disney label, it's hard for people to really respect you and say, okay, you have real talent. Because there are some people that will use the Disney and Nickelodeon label. They don't even have they don't have real talent, but their stuff is still being played because they have that label. And now it's at the point where anybody can come out with the label, but it's easy for somebody like me to go, okay, well, I'm not gonna give it a chance because the other person that came out with the Disney label, they didn't sound good. So what's the difference? This person might sound the exact same.
Yeah, Shawn Mendes, he got his first big break from I think it was Descendants 1. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember what song it was, but they decided to use one of the songs at the end of the film, and that's how he got started. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you knew that.
Me personally, I just don't. I'm rare to nowadays. I'm rare to give somebody a chance that has the Disney or Nickelodeon label because they just don't make these artists like they used to be. They used to be banger, banger, like good, good. This is talented. I live for this. This sounds amazing. And now it's just all the same. It's one girl, she has a show out now on Disney Channel. It's like Gabby Duran and the Unsleepables. I can't even remember what it's called. But it's like something where she babysits some monsters. And the show is I mean, for Disney standards now, it's a good show. I think maybe it's too late. If the show had came out a few years ago, back when Disney had a good audience and had good shows, then show would get more attention. But the theme song for the song, I like the theme song. I was like, okay, this is a good theme song, and then I was like, that's good for Disney now, and because I was like, you wouldn't expect that now. Um, what was I about to say? And then she had a song that Disney released on their as a commercial. She had a song come out, and I was like, okay, this is catchy. I actually like this. I'm like, that's really surprising for me to say I like a song by somebody and they still have the Disney label. She still has her show on Disney, and it really impressed me. I was really impressed. If I find out what music she's doing now, I'm gonna go check it out because I'm still impressed. Even though I'm not searching for her on YouTube, like, oh, what else does she have out? The one commercial I was impressed by, that still sat with me, and I'm like, okay, I'm impressed. But say with who's somebody I don't really. The girl she plays, the little girl on. I won't even say her by itself. There was one song Disney had put out about pretty much girl power. I didn't like the song because it tried to do everything, and it it was really meant for one thing. If you did a song for one purpose and you stick to that one thing, then it could have been a good song. But the song itself just didn't really do it for me because I just wasn't vibing with it. Maybe that's just me. Everybody else liked the song, but I didn't like it.
And what show was this?
It was on Raven's Home. It came on Raven's Home.
Was that a good series?
Raven's Home is not as good as That's So Raven. I'll say that. I will not. The worst thing I could say right now is that Raven's Home was as bad as Girl Meets World, but then I would be lying to myself when I said that. Raven's Home was it will not have the same comedic energy that That's So Raven had. Raven's Home will never have the good storylines that That's So Raven had. They'll never have the same energy that That's So Raven had. However, if we're not going to compare this show to That's So Raven, then Raven's Home is a really good show. I would say that for Disney now, since their standards, really good show. If I'm flipping through channels and I see it's on, I might sit and say, you know what, I might check it out. I might check it out. I'm not hooked on the show. However, I'm impressed with what I saw.
Yeah, it looks. I never got into it. I don't even know what it's really about. Isn't it what? Isn't it about like witchcraft and all that? Like she can move objects with her mind.
No, she can just see the future.
Hmm.
I guess you really haven't seen it then.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's on Disney Plus, so maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so what was up? What else has been going on?
Wow, I really did go on one about that. Um, I don't know. I missed the Kids' Choice Awards. I don't know if they still, I don't know how they did it or what the format was, but I missed it. I said I was going to do a video watching it, but then I was like, when the time came around, I really did not want to. I wasn't impressed by the commercials. Like, I mean, they say, Victoria Justice was hosting and whatever. I was like, okay, Victoria's coming back to YouTube. Part of me was like, maybe we're going to get a Victorious reboot announcement, but I don't know. That's just my thought. But I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
I think
just,
Ariana Grande on there, I think
mm-hmm,
she kind of like ruined the show, like when she left.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was the reason.
No, that wasn't the reason.
I know the girl, the main character, I think she had beef with her too.
That was speculation, but I think they both came out and said that that wasn't true.
It was an all right show. It wasn't something I watched every time, but uh, I did really love Big Time Rush. That was a really good show.
It
I
was
think it was really underrated.
very. And like I said about the Nickelodeon label, I think when they got older, because they were old when the show finished. Well, not old, but they were getting to like that mature age. I think when you get to mature age, I think that's when you really need to say, can we continue on with a mature audience, with a mature style, where we're doing what we want to do, but we're still the group that we once were? And that's the question you really have to ask yourself. Because look at what's a girls group? Look at Fifth Harmony. They had to grow up by the time their last album came out. Their first album, they were all like their audience was preteens, tweens, whatever. And their music was very little kids music. At least in my opinion, it was just little kids music. It came on, felt like little kids music. But compare one of their very first songs to one of their very last songs, and you can say that group grew up. They really grew up. And I think their style really grew up once Camilla left. But that's no shots at her. That's just saying that everybody was allowed to sing a certain part of the song.
And I think that's a huge problem with musicians is really it's all about growing and evolving your style of music because you can't just keep one style of music for the rest of your career. You have to continuously change and because your audience, yes, they'll grow with you and they'll support you, but the times, for example, back in like the 50s, rock and roll was the thing. And then, if you look at today, you know, would you say like pop would be the big thing now?
Yeah. It's
But
not even pop though. We're really shifting out of pop and more shifting into hip hop, rap, that category. I would definitely say that's the category we're shifting into now.
I mean, music has changed so much, and you go from people just singing to you can now, change and alter your voice on like, computers and add all these extra stuff to it and make it, really good.
Hmm.
And so, do you agree with that?
I think the standards of becoming an artist have changed from what they used to be. Back in the day, you had to actually have talent, you had to have a voice, you had to have a style, and you had to have music. And once you did all that, you had to have an audience. And once you do all of that, you are a good singer. And if you have a good label and a good record company and all of that, your music is set to go. That's not necessarily the same thing because everyone's altering their voices now, like you said, auto tune, lip singing, and all of that. And it's just like if they did this back in the 80s and the 90s, I mean, most of the artists from now would not be artists back then. And
Yeah,
I
I
can
agree.
I might throw some shots at the rap community too. Look at rap from the 90s because I think that was the peak of rap. That's when it was at its utmost best. Nothing now that I've heard will be the utmost best if you put it next to the 90s. The 90s was the peak of rap. They rapped about real stuff, pain, passion, love, all of that. And that is nothing of what I'm hearing now. Unless it's a 90s artist making music in 2020, no 2020 artist that I've heard has rap that I can say is as good as the 90s. It's just all gang, gang, guns, guns, girls, girls, sex, sex, hormones, hormones. And it's just like, oh my gosh. Oh, did I say drugs too? Drugs, alcohol, all of that stuff, and cars. The standards have just changed a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Music, I think it's important for everyone, and I think it's okay for you to like, whatever set of music you like. Um, but like I said before, I think a lot of it for musicians, their job is to evolve and change and try and get better and not just stay in one place the entire time because
Mhm.
you'll eventually get left in the dust.
If there's something I would like to bring back to music, I would like to bring back the effort into most of these artists. If the effort comes back, then everything is really can start to get where it needs to be for the music industry to be where it was back in the days during its peak time.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say, today's music, they're putting in less effort. I think it's just different. And for me, I enjoy the jazz and slow type of music like Sinatra and, a lot of the old timers. Um,
Hmm.
the only artist that I listen to today that's actually alive, and you would be surprised, is The Weeknd. Um,
Well, the weekend's not that old.
yeah, he actually just turned 30, I think was it last month.
Yeah, he's not old. I wouldn't consider him a part of this generation of music.
But I mean, what's good about him is a lot of his music that he puts up, a lot of his older music, like Trilogy, it's really deep. He talks about his early life and how much, he's taken drugs and, not having a father and you know, talking about him used to living on the streets. And it connected me, even though I don't have that type of life. It still connected me on an emotional level, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of the music, like you said, is missing is you know, the, the raw emotion for it.
Hmm.
But
So I won't say necessarily that the effort is gone, but I guess I'll just say the style. Because I can't say a lot of the mumble rap now has no effort in it, but it's just not the same style that a lot of people are used to. And everyone's entitled to like their own artist. And we're all just people that like to have entertainment in music.
yeah, I mean, and kids today didn't grow up listening to like the 90s and 80s. The music they have now is really all they have. So you know,
Hmm.
it's different. So it's all about exploring, different music and figuring out what you like.
Hmm.
But yeah. So you like R&B and rap, right?
Yeah, that's totally my style.
Is there any like specific songs that you like?
Not really, not that I can think of. But on that note, I do have to tap out for a minute, or actually not a minute, but if you want to do a podcast later this week, that works fine, but I'm gonna be busy for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's fine. I have to leave in about 40 minutes because we have to put my dog down.
Hmm.
I think he has like a really bad tumor on his back.
Oh, he passed away?
No, he has a tumor on his back, and when he goes outside, he just screams.
Oh,
There's something
wow.
with his bowels or something like that. But so we're gonna have to put him down today. But
Mm.
um, yeah, we can do a podcast sometime this weekend if you want. Whenever you're doing your own podcast. I'll be more than happy to join.
Okay.
Do you want to like plug your podcast for the video real quick?
Um, I don't have a link on me right now. I can send it to you and you can put it in the description of the
Yeah.
video.
Okay.
And it
Well,
was nice doing a podcast with you. If you and viewers enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, share the video, do whatever you want to do, and we'll all see you guys next time.
yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in with my friend Nicholas, and hopefully this video can be uploaded and downloaded on YouTube and not like last time. Um, and we'll try and post a video maybe once a week. I'm gonna try and get like more guests on the show. Uh, I have a couple friends in mind, but we'll see what's up this week. But thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week.